Hello everyone. I want to tell you a story about how I got over the troubles with my boss. It all started when I was unexpectedly hired by a jolly young-looking farm keeper. Alfredo Berlutio. I was paid by the amount of work I do. The problem was that I did work well and on time, but when my boss examined it, he said that it was bad and didn't pay me half the time. For example, my boss asked me to build a fence. I worked for only an hour and I already finished the fence and painted it. But when my boss came and let the chickens into the pen, the fence came down. My boss then yelled at me and didn't pay me for that day. But my boss never said the fence had to be firm and solid. Yes, there were. Like the time when my boss wanted me to get some firewood, but only chopped down one tree. I chopped down the biggest one I can see and brought in a lot of firewood. When my boss saw the firewood, he yelled at me for chopping down his most favorite tree. And he didn't pay me for that day. No, it wasn't my fault. My boss told me to cut down a tree. I did cut down a tree. And there's absolutely no reason for him to spaz at me. Yes, I do. He once told me to lead the chickens across the road into the new rebuilt chicken house. There was no problem. I safely locked the chickens into the chicken house and returned to my boss. The boss yelled April Fool when I told him about what I have done for the day, but there was a plus side. I actually got paid for that day. Yes, like the time when I had to get some water and brought a teaspoon. Well, it wasn't my fault all the buckets kept falling into the well. No, it wasn't! Anything else you want to ask? I wanted to do something special for my boss, so I brought him flowers and chocolates. My boss sneezed and nearly died coughing because he was allergic to the flowers. And when he tried my chocolates, he actually choked, and he was mad at me for that. And I still wasn't paid. Yes, I brought him some more flowers. This time he actually went to the hospital and didn't even yell at me because he was coughing the whole time. But he didn't really get the ability to pay me for that day, but probably he wouldn't have anyways. No, I actually quit myself. Okay, I wasn't fired. I started out my own farm. Because I thought it was really easy. What is it? Buy the chickens, feed the chickens, sell the chickens. The chickens ran away from me, didn't want to eat the food I was giving them, started losing weight because of that, and started getting diseases, and some of them even died. I hired a farm worker. He worked awful. And I once gave him a very easy job. Build a fence around the yard. He took the whole day just building the fence. Didn't even paint it. It was tilted at a 90 degrees angle, and it fell over as soon as a chicken bumped into it. He was not able to bring a bucket full of water from the well, Instead, he dropped all my buckets into the well. I didn't pay him for that day. There was a time when I told him to bring some firewood. He went into the forest and cut down the oldest tree there. I really got mad at him because that was my favorite tree, and I didn't pay him for that day because I was just too pissed at him. Yeah, on April Fool's Day, I told him to herd the chickens across the road. He did it well and then came back. When he told me about what he has done, I just yelled April Fool at the top of my lungs. Oh no, I fired him. I actually hired a professional farm worker. My business went on really, really well. My business flourished, and right now I'm making really big amounts of money.